Hello, welcome to ATI 4448. In this session, we are going to address project human resource management. Although, chapter 6, the project quality management, we didn't go over that, but I will delay it for now. I will give the resource management first, and I want to connect the cost management with the resource management and then develop an example using Microsoft Project to include both of these chapters. So let's go over the human resource management first, and then we'll go over chapter 6, which is the quality management later. So what is the project human resource management? It actually includes the processes that organize and manage the resources needed, especially the humans or the people needed for the execution of a project. The project team members are assigned roles and responsibilities to complete the activities or to accomplish the activities and tasks within a certain project. The number of involved members in a project and their type may change as the project progresses. So, for example, at the beginning, maybe 2 or 3 members will be involved. At the middle, maybe 7 members will be involved. And then towards the end, maybe again 2 or 3 members involved. Again, the type and the number of people that's involved in the project will vary based on the project progress. And we are going to see a histogram that will show that later on in these slides. The project human resource management actually include 4 processes. The first process is the human resource planning. So first we need to plan for the resources that's needed to accomplish the project or project activities. Then we need to acquire those team members, get them from either internal resources or external resources. And then we need to develop the project team, build their skills, enhance their performance through training or something, and then manage the team once they start executing their tasks. The first process, which is develop a human resource plan, is the process of identifying and documenting project roles, responsibilities, and required skills, reporting relationships, and creating staffing management plan. It may also include identification of training needs. So we look at the different skills and capabilities of the different team members that we have in the organization, and then define if we need to train them or to hire external resources to perform that job. And usually training will be performed for the internal employees. The reason for that, it's better to train my employee because they will be equipped for other projects or coming projects. Scarce resources and their availability should be taken into consideration when developing the plan, especially if we are sharing these resources between different projects. And usually the project managers will be fighting on these scarce resources, getting there to get their project done. So we have to consider that when planning for a project. To develop the human resource plan, we need the following items. First, we need the work breakdown structure, which has the different tasks and activities breakdown, and that has been done before in the planning phase when we started the planning, and we created a work breakdown structure for the different activities. Then we need to identify the different enterprise or organization environmental factors that might affect the human resource or the selection of the people that will execute the project. For example, the organizational culture and structure. What do we have as existing or available human resources that can execute or perform the tasks and the activities of the project, the personal administration policies and rules, and of course the marketplace conditions. In addition, we need to see the assets, different assets for the organization. Some of the assets will include documentation and templates, forms, applications that can be used for the different stages of the project. The tools and techniques that can be used to develop a human resource plan can be through charts, matrices, and documents, other documents like templates. We can also use the networking technique, and we can use organizational theory. For the different or for the first technique, which is the organizational charts, matrices, and documents, we use for the chart, we use hierarchical type. As an example, we can use the resource breakdown structure or resource requirement matrix, or we can use the organizational breakdown structure, OBS, or RRM or RBS. So the resource breakdown structure or the organizational breakdown structure that can show the different units or departments and the resources included in each department or each unit. We can use the matrix-based charts, which has responsibility assignment matrix that assigns responsibility for the different responsibility or role for the different involved personnel in a project. And we have the also other metrics that we are going to talk about in a minute. Also, we have text-oriented format that has the responsibilities, and usually that will be when assigning a person for a role in a project, we have to identify their role and responsibilities, which can be used as a template for that position when we have a similar project. This is a sample of the organizational chart, which shows this is for an IT project, and it shows the different layers for the organization, and the responsible based on the project manager, or starting from the project manager going all the way to the different teams that are responsible for the different sub projects in that main project. The responsibility assignment matrix, or the RAM, is a matrix that maps the work of the project as described in the work breakdown structure to the people responsible for performing the work as described in the organizational breakdown structure. It can be created in different ways to meet unique project needs. So it's a simple matrix that just maps the different personnel to the different activities that we created before. This is an example that has the organizational breakdown structure units, the different units or departments in the organization, and the different activities. So we can say that activity 1.1.1 is the responsibility of system engineering department. If we have a P, then performing the task will be that organization. So it's the system engineering responsibility, but the performing organizational unit or department will be the test engineering. Another example can be the uh, uh, matrix that shows accountability, participation, review, input required, and sign off required. So we will know who will be accountable for the different activity, who will be participating in the activity, who will review uh, that activity or the completion of that activity, and who's required to add an input or give an input for that activity, and who will sign off on that activity. Another matrix that we can use is the responsibility, accountability, consultation, inform matrix, uh, which is RACI. Again, it will assign responsibility for a certain group. It will assign accountability for another group, consultation for a group, and to be informed for another group. It can be through groups or through personnel. So I can put the names or the job or a description of a job for each one of the employees responsible for these different actions. The other part, we said the networking, and what we mean by the networking is the formal and informal interaction with others in an organization, which can be done either through meetings, conferences, or symposia. Also, the technical discussions that can be done or that can be set up between the different team members. It can be useful at the beginning of the project to brainstorm and get the ideas out there, especially the technical problems that we might face in the project and how to deal with these kind of problems. It can be used also for training and employee development, especially for new employees that will be hired and will be involved in main project with other expertise or other people with expertise that can share the information with them and then assist in the training process. The organization theory provides information regarding the way in which people, teams, and organizational units behave. It's very important to recognize that different organizational structures have different individual response, individual performance, and personal relationship characteristics. The different departments in an organization have different culture, different way of communication, and based on that, you will see that there is a way or um, there is different ways of sharing the information between the members or the team members of that department, and it differs from one department or one unit to another. The output from the planning phase is to have project organizational charts. We will have staffing management plans. We will have different matrix or matrices that will show the different responsibilities and roles for the different employees or units in the organization. The staffing management plan describes when and how people will be added to and taken off the project team. And as we said before, you will see that at the beginning of the project, you have different type of people and different number of people associated with the project, and either this number will increase or will decrease over the time or the project life cycle. This is a histogram that shows the different resources. If we have project that is 6 months long, from January to June, we can see that at the beginning of the project we have managers involved, we have business analysts, and then we have programmers. The number of programmers at the beginning was only one programmer, so we had two business analysts, we have one manager, and we have one programmer. At the beginning we have four personnel. February the same, but once we have March, now we need more programmers, so we added three more, and now we have four programmers. So we have four programmers to enlist in addition to the project manager. In April, we have to add technical writer to start writing the documentation that's needed to be submitted to the customer or the sponsor. Once we got into June, the last month, the number of people involved decreased to one programmer, one analyst, one technical writer, and the project manager. Again, it's four, but it's totally different than the type of people that were involved at the beginning of the project. So the staffing management plan need to consider the following. Need to consider staff acquisition, internal or external. If I don't have the internal resources, then I need to contract the people from out, or contract people from outside to perform the activities or the job needed. Do we need to have all the people in a central location, or do we need, or can we let them work remotely from different areas, different places, different states, over the phone or over maybe Skype or any other different technology tool? For the cost, for the timing, all these questions has to be asked to know if I can acquire the staff and how soon we can do that. Also, the plan will include a resource calendar, which can be represented by the histogram that was shown before in the slide before, and will show the number of people that will be involved over the number and type of people that will be involved over the project life cycle. After accomplishing the different tasks, we need to develop a plan to release the staff to the different units or different areas. We need to identify if a training is needed, and what kind of training, the type of training that's needed, how long do we need that, and what are the benefits of that training. Also, we need to develop a recognition and reward program which has clear criteria that can recognize the people that worked during the project execution to achieve the project goals and to produce a successful execution for that project. Some of the rewards even can be as simple as the ability to work from home as an incentive. So it doesn't need to be money amount or physical amount, just something that will aid or that will motivate the employee to work, and they will know that their work actually was successful and did change for the organization. In addition, in the plan, we need to make sure that everything that we do and everything the employee does comply with the different government regulations and rules, with the union contracts, and with the human resource policies for the organization itself. If dealing with an environment that needs lots of safety, then we need to make sure that everybody's following the safety policies and procedures that protect the team members when executing certain activity or the different activities within a project. The second process will be acquiring the project team. Acquiring the project team is the process of obtaining the team necessary to complete project assignment. Since we identified in the first process the different skills that I need to execute the project, then I need now to gather those team members or find them and start hiring them. So the project manager should should have good hiring procedure and incentives to attract the different skills and different team members from different places. Sometimes the project manager does not have direct control over team member selection due to the use of a subcontractor or a matrix project environment or other reasons. But as a project manager, they should try hard to hire the proper people for the proper activities. For the project manager to press hard on the need for these skills or those people, he should explain for the management the consequences of a failure to acquire those skills. Also, the project manager should have alternative resources that can be identified in the event of lack of resources due to constraints or due to economical factors. The human resource plan will be used as an input to acquire the proper team. What kind of tools and techniques we can use to acquire the team? Sometimes you'll see that project team being pre-assigned even before the project starts, and that could be during the proposal stage. So the same team that proposed the solution for a problem will be the same team that will execute the project activities. Other times, the project manager has to negotiate with the functional manager or maybe other project managers to share some of the scarce resources that are available in the organization. There are also acquisition techniques that we can use when the organization lacks in-house skills and acquire those skills from outside the organization or outside the company. In addition, if those people will not be able to be or to attend or to come in a central place, to be in a central place, we can use what's called virtual teams. And that technique can use the different expertise from different places using the electronic communication, like we said, whether through email, video conferencing, or even phone conferencing. But we can get all the expertise in one room and create what's called a virtual team. We expect as an output from acquiring project team to have a project staff assignment. Now we know who are the people even by name, that maybe John will be responsible for doing this, maybe James will be responsible for this. So we have certain names for certain activities and certain tasks within the project. We will have a calendar that's ready for us to start in addition to the histogram, so we'll have the different people when they're gonna start by day, by hour, and when the activities will end. And then we will have also updates for the project management plan, since now we have more clear picture on what's going to happen with the execution of the activities. The third process is to develop the project team. The main goal is to help people work together more effectively and to improve project performance. Um, it takes teamwork to successfully complete most of projects. So if the team was not collaborative enough to produce a successful project and execute the different activities within a project, that will affect project schedule and project cost. And you can see that as an overrun for the time and overrun for the cost. The developing include improving the knowledge of the team and improving their skills, in addition to improving their feeling of trust and agreement with other team members, which will decrease the conflict between the team members. We can also create a dynamic and cohesive team culture to improve both individual and team productivity and the successful execution of the project activities. The different tools and techniques that is used for project team development is the interpersonal skills, developing interpersonal skills where they feel the empathy and the influence and the creativity between the different team members, and that will assist in group facilitation and collaboration. In addition, we can add some training to the different team members to enhance team competencies and skills. We can also create team building activities, such as the way that team members can work with each other. And we have certain or 5 steps to do that, or 5 options, and that's based on Tuckman model, and we are going to talk about that in the next slide. We have also ground rules, which is clear expectation of what's required from each team member, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, whether through behavior or through the execution of the project activity. What do I expect at the end of the execution of that activity from each team member? We can use also the co-location technique, which is placing all or most of the team members in the same physical location, which will assist in the brainstorming, the creativity, the communication between the different team members. And of course, we need to add a main tool that can improve and develop the project team, which is recognition and rewards, where we recognize the desirable behavior on or between the team members, especially if they reach the main goal of the execution of the project. The training can help people to understand themselves and each other and understand how to work better in teams. Training can be done either through live sessions, where we have certain people that's coming or invited from outside the company to train the team members. We can have people from different projects or other projects We can have project managers, functional manager to come and train or present the best practices of project execution. We can give online or certificates from outside the company. We can use computer-based training, or we can uh, create a monitoring and coaching environment between the different team members. Also, they can be trained for a specific technical skill. If we have a certain organization that offers that, we can pay as an organization for the different skills to be trained on and provide certain certification or level of performance in such a skill. And those are the different stages or phases that I was talking about for team building activities that was developed by Tuckman, and it's called Tuckman model. The Tuckman model, 5 stages are the forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So from the beginning, you can see forming the team, then storming, like brainstorming and discussion, especially the technical issues and how to solve them. Then norming means adjusting yourself to the team behavior and to support the team and project execution. Then start the performing, where you start the execution of the different activities of the project, and adjourning by finishing and completing your work and moving on to the next project. The reward and recognition system, it's a team-based reward and recognition system that can promote teamwork, and it should focus on rewarding teams for achieving specific goals. Instead of rewarding certain individuals, awarding the whole team will be better than individuals. And then allow time for team members to mentor and help each other to meet project goals and develop human resources. The outputs expected from developing project team is to actually improve the different skills and competencies for the team and reduce staff turnover rate and increase team cohesiveness. Also, we need to document and update all the gained skills in the organizational database to address or to use these skills, the developed skills, in new projects or other projects. That will be all for this session. Next session, we are going to continue with the fourth process of human resource management, which will be the last process, and finish the human resource management part. If you have any questions, please email it through Florida Online. Thank you.